First of all, congratulations.
Yay!
You saw it coming, I guess.
You know what? Best way I can kind of describe it is, I thought, you know what, I put my all into this role. You know, I put 150%, 200% into this movie. I put in a lot of work. A lot of people did not necessarily think I should even be nominated because in terms of Ghanaian films or in terms on the continent, who is AMAA Abebrese? You know what I mean? So, but I know based on performances and I know I did my best. So my prayer to God was this. I was like, God, I know I've done well. I know I gave everything. If this is mine, let it be mine. And I closed my mind. And, you know, I didn't see the big deal with the other nominees. Everybody was like, oh my God, you're nominated against so and so and so. I could be nominated against Angelina Jolie. I just have to believe in myself. So, and the thing about awards is anybody that's nominated for any award or you go for any competition, you want to win. You want to end up being the one with the prize at the end of the day. So I wanted to win and I was hopeful and I believed I could win. And I think that was just my prayer. So once I kind of said that prayer, I closed my mind. I was on set. I was doing my thing. I couldn't go to the AMAAs, and I was like, I really want to go, but I have to be, you know, in Ghana filming Ties That Bind. And when I got the phone call, I was like, God, thank you. And you know what? And literally, my testament is this. If anything, is that when God says yes, you put in the work. Nobody can say no. So yeah, I'm very happy I won. I wanted to win. I believed I could win, and by God's grace, I did win, and I did it for Ghana, and I'm so happy.
Basically, this movie happens to be your first major role.
Yes.
I know people try several times before they could get there, but you, with one shot, you are there.
Okay, that's one way you can look at it. And another way that people don't necessarily know about me is I've been acting for a very long time. I mean, in the UK, I did youth theatre. I always did school plays. I mean, I have a degree in drama and media. I used to do Lambda classes in the UK. I've done a couple of short films and I've done lots of theatre. So that was something that nobody knows, but it's just, I guess, when in Ghana, most people knew me as this is AMAA, the TV presenter who was out in the UK. So it's like, oh, now she's acting now? But if you don't know, if you haven't walked in somebody's shoes, you don't know where they've come from. So acting has always been my first love. And I always said, you know what, one day with the right opportunity, I'll definitely go back to it. And everything happens for a reason, because I bumped into this crazy lady called Layla Jansi, and she's like, oh, come and audition for my movie. She's such a great filmmaker. She's a visionary filmmaker. And one thing I like about her is she did not look for a name. She could have made this movie and picked so many different known actresses on the continent. But she was like, you know what? After the audition, there's something I know you can pull this role off. And she took a chance by hiring an unknown actress. And I think, you know, I'm thankful to her for that, because she really allowed me and her production company to showcase my talents. And yeah, it's, you know, to people, I was an unknown actress, but I'd been acting for many years. And I guess because I really love it, I didn't go into this acting bit for the money. I didn't go, oh, I want to be famous. If it's about fame, I already had a so-called persona in the UK, to a certain degree, a little persona in Ghana. It was just like, I really love this. Given the chance, I want to just do it for the love. And I think because I was doing it for the love, you know, I'm not concerned with fame. I'm not concerned with money. And I'm just doing it and I'm loving it.
How long have you been acting?
Professionally, goodness, 15 years. But I did it as a child. Little things. I'll say little professionally or not. Okay, not professionally getting paid, but maybe semi-professionally doing local theatre. I'm amateur dramatics in my neighbourhood that I grew up in the UK. Studying. I've always studied drama from GCSEs. I did it at A level. I did it at degree level. So I've always had acting around me, and I've always, for many years. And then when I got into the media, I was on film sets. I used to have a show called Cinemania, and we used to go to different film sets in the UK. So I've been around that world of media, filmmaking, television, so it was just a very natural progression for me.
Now, when you look at Sinking Sands as a whole, and your role in Sinking Sands, clearly fine, you performed very well, but which scene do you think triggered the whole thing? Probably
which
for you.
Scenes?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did magic for you?
It has so much great scenes. Everybody makes a big deal about that scene at the lake for some reason, and in fact it tends to be a lot of males, because I go to the lake and of course I remove what I'm wearing and you see the shot of my back. You know, a lot of males have complimented that particular scene. For what reason? I don't know.
Do you think that is what did the trick for you?
No, you know what? Of course, I'm not going to say that's what did the trick. I feel like certain people remember certain scenes because, for whatever reason, if something is pleasing to their eye, or they're like, oh, hello. But no, I feel like, to be honest, I rewatched Sinking Sands last night, and the rape scene came on, and I couldn't watch it. I had to close my eyes. Funny enough is, yes, I'm acting, yes, I'm watching a movie, but it was so traumatic to watch. And
I think that's
that scene messed me up. That scene,
to me personally, I think that's the best scene of the whole movie.
Physically, mentally shooting that scene that day, it took a lot out of me. And it's been like, what, 9 months or 10 months or whatever since it was shot. And I watched it back again. This is the third time I'd seen Sinking Sands, and I couldn't keep my eyes open. I've never been able to keep my eyes open for that scene. And that's really traumatic. And it was like, yeah, God forbid, but women go through that, or people go through that. And some people may never talk about it. And for me, even acting it, the mental experience I had was not a good one. So, and the fact that I still cannot watch it back this day just shows how I feel like a lot of people who watched it, and maybe the panel for the African Movie Academy Awards, that realness about it. That's the most standout scene for me in the movie.
But do you know one interesting thing? If you don't have the courage to watch it today, that particular scene today, how do you manage to pull it off on set?
It's God. No, there's one thing I have to say though is working with Leila Jansi and Turning Point Pictures, the sets is extremely professional. There is a sense of when there's time to joke and fool around, we joke and fool around, and when there's a time to work, people work. Like I remember that particular day that we shot that scene, the director, Leila Jansi, was very particular. It's like, everybody stay away from AMAA. I was pretty much kept in isolation. I had to get myself mentally in the right position, imagine all sorts of horrible things, and then to be physically sort of held down like that. I don't even know. I think I even blanked out for the scene. There were certain things that people told me after the scene, like, oh, did you see that? I'm like, what? I didn't even remember. It's a weird thing. I mean, because once you put yourself in a character, you put yourself in a character so deep, you sometimes get entangled. And I couldn't watch it back. It's so weird. Like, I'll watch little bits of it and I'll close my eyes, and then my heart, my kuma.
That it wasn't part of the script, or what?
It was part of the script, but it's almost like sometimes when you read about it and then when you do it, it takes on a whole different emotion.
Okay. But you not turning up in Nigeria for the AMAAs, was it that probably you didn't think you were going to win?
No, I wanted to go. I really wanted to go. The only reason that I couldn't make it was because, as everybody knows, I was on set, and I'm still currently on set shooting Ties That Bind. We wanted to go, but it was just purely logistic reasons. We were in Volta region in Ho, and to have left Ho, which is like to Accra, which is 2 hours, and then catch a plane from Lagos to Port Harcourt, and then from Port Harcourt to I think you now drive Lagos to Port Harcourt, then you now drive to Bayelsa, and then do that. Literally, I would only have been given 24 hours off, and there was no way I could have gone and come back in time. And I really wanted to go, and I'm hoping to get an opportunity to go maybe next year, because I'd really love to honor the invitation. But it was just right bang in the middle. I just, scheduling conflicts just could not allow me. Even Leila Jansi was nominated, where she was directing, she couldn't go, and we really wanted to go. But hey, they say, it was nice that we won. I mean, it was still great that we won. I would have personally loved to go, but at that particular case, it just wasn't meant to be for me to attend that time.
Now, yes, you are Africa's finest actress, as you speak.
Wow! Woohoo!
So if you look at that accolade, actually, and look at the future, mixing the two of them,
Expectations is I can only do better. That's the only option I have, is better. Because God has put me in this position, and I've worked towards this position where, for my first lead role in a movie, I get, the biggest accolade in film on the continent. Now, that is such a huge, accomplishment, blessing, but then there's a huge pressure on myself, because if you start with an AMAA, where'd you go next? I want, they bring me the Academy Awards, bring me the BAFTAs, bring me Bollywood, bring me whatever. I can only keep going forward. I thought that's my thing. I'm praying that I'm able to do better roles, more good scripts that, are able to go on the world scale for people to see Africans and be like, wow, they do produce good work. That's my hope. So yeah, they say the sky is the limit. That is so true. Like
I guess right now you're gonna do movies full time, huh?
No, I'm like, I love, the thing about me is like, you know what? I don't feel like in life, I don't think you must settle. Why should I only be an actress? Why should I only be a TV presenter? Why should I only be a TV executive? Why should I only be a producer? I can do it all. I'm doing it all, and I want to do it all by God's grace and with hard work, with vision, with being humble. Yeah, there's, I'm a producer. I love TV presenting. There's a couple of presenting things. I do voiceovers. And the one thing about this industry, whenever you talk to anybody, even in the mainstream, is to keep working. I would just want to keep working and do what I love. And if I love it, I'm going to do it. Who knows? Maybe I might just start, baking bread on the side as well. I don't know. I want to do it all.
You had the luxury of probably sticking to foreign scene, basically the UK scene, to just do movies there and not come to Ghana, because in terms of money-wise, profitability-wise, basically, it's much more profitable to do movies out there than here. Do you think it's worth it doing movies down here?
Okay, the thing about the Western world is, okay, I grew up in the UK, and I had, I knew when I was coming up a lot of actors who went to LA to try and do stuff in LA. To be honest, roles in the West for black actors and female actors and actresses is always very limited. So there's very few people, and then even then when they make it, is usually very hard for new faces to break in. Same thing as here. I could have stayed in the UK, but because I've spent the majority of my life there, I always wanted to come back. I'm like, I love Ghana. I used to come on holiday every Christmas, those, London people making noise in the clubs, and it was, when the opportunity came up, I was like, I want to be home. That was my main thing. I just want to be home, and I love it. I'm Ghanaian. It's I feel like more of us, or more of the people who have skill sets and are back, wherever, should come back and then you apply what you've learned, so that we can build. One of my friends who's actually from Bulgaria said this to me once. Is like, look, it's good for people like you to come home, because when you stay in the Western world is developed. It's done. It's set. So if you have whether your doctors or whatever, your lawyers, you have all these skill sets, and you're using in a so-called like system where everything pretty much is advanced. Why in our country where we're still building so much, why don't you just bring back your skill sets? So yeah, it was the option. I could have stayed over there, but I'd been there, done it. Ghana was my next challenge, and it's home, and it's a home that I wasn't able to have much of as a child. So now I'm seeing it fresh, and it's great. I'm loving it right now. And hey, London is 6 hours away. I go for a weekend and I'm back. And I'm not cold anymore.
The UK, you've actually spent most of the time there at an upper level where the industry seems to be fixed. They know what they're about, they know what they're doing. You've been in Ghana for a while now. What are the challenges here? What are the problems?
Oh, Ghana. I think, do you know what Ghana has, which is great? We have great sceneries, we have great natural resources, we have great sunlight, we have great people. Now what we don't have is we don't have skill sets and we don't have training. So if, for example, for this movie we're shooting, yes, we have equipment, but the equipment we have here is very basics. We don't have high-end cameras. So the high-end cameras, the production have to ship in. In terms of people, the way we shoot films in Ghana, some people shoot films within 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Lighting is, Ghanaian films, we make best of what we have. Now, in order for us to do movies which is seen at the world level, we need to compete on the world level. We need to be doing films where we have the equipment, we have the skill sets, and we have the talent. I always say I think that Ghana and Nigeria and Africa, we have some of the best actors. The reason I say that is you go to a film set and the way they are working and the conditions sometimes they're working, and to bring out such great performances, I feel like don't sit there and say, oh, this person cannot act, or this person. A lot of times you are working under constraints. So that's obviously the major difference. I feel like we have here the raw talent and not necessarily the equipment or the training to back it up. And whereas sometimes over there, they have all the equipment and all the fancy stuff, but maybe the raw talent is probably a little bit limited, or, or even if it's limited, they have that training. You can be going to drama school from the time, I can take a 2-year-old and put them in school for performance. You do it, and it's fine. We don't have those things here. So I always feel like I'm always so happy when actors are excelling here in Ghana or on the continent, or they are doing something amazing, or filmmakers, because we are limited. But then it's such an accomplishment. Like Sinking Sands for me was such an accomplishment. And I think also for the foreign crew, a lot of them, this was their first time on the continent, the first time in Ghana. And we achieved something with, we try to work in the way that they work outside. And we achieved something. And, hey, to be recognized for it. Yeah. But I always commend my colleagues in the industry, because I always say what they create is magic.
So basically what you're saying is that Africa, and let's say Ghana and Nigeria in particular, have a lot of raw talent than outside there.
I feel it, because the conditions they work in, like you've been on our film set today. We have, you've seen how we're working. There's a lot of resources for us to aid us, the actors. Now you go to someone like Ejako. Ejako is a massive raw talent. He's amazing. I think he's hilarious, but he hasn't got the resources the West has. But yet he's still able to bring out his talent even under all that, I say, constraints, because he hasn't got big, huge lights and stuff, but yet he's still able to do something as simple as it is that an audience receives very well. And no matter what we say, all the frills, everything, you make movies for the audience. That's it. And once your audience receives you well.
If today you should get a phone call from Hollywood, come star in a major role, in a major movie, take some big fat paycheck, and later tells you to stay here and play a small role for her, take some small money, which one would you choose?
To be honest, I will say this the only way I answer this is this, based on what the script they're offering me. If the script they're offering me is some big money, but I'm gonna go over there and just be in maybe play some role, which is not necessarily to me, will show my talent, when Layla's offering me as a small role, but the role to me it'll be a better role, I would definitely go for the better role, because this is the love that I do with Bob. But yeah, if Hollywood is offering me the good role with the money, I'll be like, Layla girl, peace out.
You're gonna dump her just now?
No, I wouldn't dump her like that, but Layla understands. Remember, this, as much as anything, filmmaking is a business. I feel like good filmmakers are the ones who have love for it, but then essentially it's a business. You spend money and you have people to pay, there's crew, there's lights, there's equipment, there's all these things, and it needs to translate into revenue. Otherwise, you end up bankrupt and you wouldn't be able to do anything. So, brilliant. So essentially, yeah, I guess that's what I'll say. But I think Layla would understand. But I would always, if I'm given a good role, I'll go with the good role. And I think, I've been offered money that I've actually turned down for roles. I'm like, you know what? That's not me. I closed my mind. I was on set. I was doing my thing. I couldn't go to the AMAAs, and I was like, I really want to go, but I have to be, in Ghana filming Ties That Bind. And when I got the phone call, I was like, God, thank you. And you know what? And literally, my testament is this, if anything, is that when God says yes, you put in the work, nobody can say no. So yeah, I'm very happy I won. I wanted to win. I believed I could win. And by God's grace, I did win. And I did it for Ghana, and I'm so happy.
Basically, this movie happens to be your first major role.
Yes.
I know people try several times before they could get there, but you, with one shot, you are there.
Okay, that's one way you can look at it. And another way that people don't necessarily know about me is I've been acting for a very long time. I mean, in the UK, I did youth theatre. I always did school plays. I have a degree in drama and media. I used to do Lambda classes in the UK. I've done a couple of short films, and I've done lots of theatre. So that was something that nobody knows, but it's just, I guess, when in Ghana, most people knew me as this is AMAA, the TV presenter who was out in the UK. So it's like, oh, now she's acting now? But if you don't know, if you haven't walked in somebody's shoes, you don't know where they've come from. So acting has always been my first love. And I always said, you know what, one day with the right opportunity, I'll definitely go back to it. And everything happens for a reason, because I bumped into this crazy lady called Layla Jansi, and she's like, oh, come and audition for my movie. She's such a great filmmaker. She's a visionary filmmaker. And one thing I like about her is she did not look for a name. She could have made this movie and picked so many different known actresses. Prayer to God was this. I was like, God, I know I've done well. I know I gave everything. If this is mine, let it be mine. And I closed my mind. And, I I didn't see the big deal with the other nominees. Everybody was like, oh my God, you're nominated against so and so and so. I could be nominated against Angelina Jolie. I just have to believe in myself. So, and the thing about awards is anybody that's nominated for any award or you go for any competition, you want to win. You want to end up being the one with the prize at the end of the day. So I wanted to win, and I was hopeful, and I believed I could win. And I think that was just my prayer. So once I kind of said that prayer.
First of all, congratulations.
Yay.
You saw it coming, I guess.
You know what, best way I can kind of describe it is I thought, you know what, I put my all into this role. You know, I put 150%, 200% into this movie. I put in a lot of work. A lot of people did not necessarily think I should even be nominated because in terms of Ghanaian films or in terms on the continent, who is AMAA Abebrese? You know what I mean? So, but I know based on performances and I know I did my best. So my